Hello, it's the weekend. It's Saturday. I've completely lost track of the days, but anyway, here we are. And I thought an hour or so ago, straight after the 2 o'clock local time position, which is 1200 UTC, I would do the tracker. It's now an hour and a half later. So I got distracted with bloody Instagram and a few other things. So I'm not big on Instagram, and I had a situation where I wanted to share an Instagram post onto Facebook, and then I thought, maybe I should sort out my Instagram. And then I found a lot of people, because I do have an Instagram account which I can use for all events, and then we have Instagram accounts for the Golden Globe race and mini Globe race and bits, which aren't heavily supported. Jane does most of that now. But we should do it more, because there's a whole world out there of people on Instagram that aren't on Facebook, and that was just made very obvious to me. Where one of our GGR entrants is not even on Facebook, but he's got like 60,000 followers on, or 65,000 followers on Instagram. He does all his stuff on Instagram. His father's quite well known, the family's quite big, and he's quite active. And he had like, I don't know, 50,000 likes on a post he did 5 days ago on Instagram. And I thought, oh, right, okay. I wanted to share his profile stuff on Facebook. And there's a lot of people that don't use Facebook. And even on, we do a dual transmission with this, for instance, on YouTube. There's quite a another whole community on YouTube that don't go anywhere near Facebook. Anyway, and also that brings up the fact that now, I've been busy doing stuff, and it was really funny. One of Jasmine's followers is really cranky with me. He's really pissed off because I didn't mention Jasmine in the last two tracker updates, which is kind of funny because I don't necessarily talk about every entrant, because it depends what I pick up in between now and the last tracker update. But I certainly, hopefully, I didn't miss her vital statistics, and of course what we're trying to encourage is that you all go to the individual entrants' Facebook pages and Instagram accounts if you're that way, because they all, most of them, as you know, they've got Starlink, and they're incredibly active. They're following all the posts that we're doing on MGR Facebook page, for instance. You'll see them coming up in comments. Kerry will come up. Christian will come up, Adam will come up. They're actually scrolling through and playing with Facebook when you're sitting around doing nothing. You might as well use your Starlink to scroll through and see what we're saying about them. Kerry in particular, because he's doing all of a sudden he's on fire with his Starlink, posting lots of videos, lots of photos, all this sort of stuff, but we can't share them. All right. He's got his, he's got his settings such that you can send it to a friend, and you can comment and you can like, but you can't share it. So I've sent him a message. Same with Adam. Adam had another issue. He did a really nice little video clip about in the morning, but he had this music playing in the background. It's copyright music. It's not copyright free. So eventually what will probably happen within 24 hours, there's all these software programs that Facebook and YouTube and everyone use. As soon as you put music up that's not delivered by them for free, the software picks up what the music is, and then it checks to see if it's copyright free or if it's not copyright free. And if it's not copyright free, they'll come back to you and say, and we're going to demonetize it if it's monetized. But more importantly, they kill all the audio anytime you're using music that's not copyright free. So I tipped off Adam and say, look, you might lose your audio if they detect it and so on. A lot of the composers and the music people who are actually doing music, they actually engage an agent to use their software program to continually hunt the web and social media. And anyone found to be using their music, which is unauthorized, you get a message, so you better get it or turn it off, otherwise we're going to charge you and you have to pay this, that, and the other. The same with photos, actually. A lot of the historic photos and bits and pieces, people now are copyright protecting their photos. So if you put one of their photos up on social media or on your website or something like that, without the relevant credits to the photographer, they pay an agency, and that agency sends a program all across the web looking for their photos, which could have been taken 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And if you're seen to use it commercially without the relevant credits, they will just lob a fine on you. They'll say, "Hey, here's the fee. This is the photographic fee, which is like €350 or €600. And if you don't pay it within so many days, they're going to take action. You get a legal letter, and they triple the cost and so on." So you got to be so careful now with music and photos. I digress a bit. You're all looking for the tracker, but anyway, one of the classics is in our film for the GGR that we produced in the 2018 GGR, Captain Coconut. We were using his music. It was a very famous piece of Australian music on a cassette tape player while we filmed this epic sequence, and we really needed the film and the natural sound, which included this music. In the end, it cost us $12,000 to use 90 seconds of music, which was crazy, but we paid it because we wanted to use it, because it suited the theme. Anyway, I digress. Let's get onto the tracker because it's kind of fun. There's lots happening. You've probably seen it, but I'll try and explain what's going on. So here we go. Boom. You're looking at the tracker. Now I'm looking at the tracker. Hang on. Boom, boom. I'm on. So these positions are about an hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes old, but you can see exactly what's happening. And we've got some breeze. The breeze is actually filling in right across the fleet, and we'll see if it's going to hold there. But generally, that's where it's at. And if we look at Renaud and Peeler and Dan, the two Dans, Kerry struggling on the side, they're all now, if we scroll back, they're on the top end of the trades, which is not quite there. You can see the deeper green line here coming through. It's just underneath Renaud, but again, he's heading south. He wants to get into this solid stuff, which will hold. And if we put the equator in, there's the equator there, so you can see that pretty clearly. And halfway down, he knows, he's been watching our tracker updates here, it's going to settle at 5 degrees, which is halfway between these two. So the quicker you can get down there, the better. But he's got breeze now, and we'll look and see. Well, I'll check it now. We're already here, so let's see how long this breeze holds. If I go up there, so you can see the trades, and there's a bit of a puff going out around here, and even Gary's got a bit of breeze up the top. So now I'm going to scroll this forward when I get my remote keyboard. Okay, so here we go. So this is the rest of the day. You can see it's going quiet behind Renaud. Renaud's just hanging on to the tip of it there. I think you can see that. So this is by 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So in another 12 hours or so, Renaud will just be holding it. Some of the others are going to go soft, but then there's enough breeze holding for everyone. Everyone's got a little bit of breeze, even Gary up the top there. And by then, we're now into tomorrow. This time tomorrow, 24 hours. No, there's 2 days ahead. Okay, so I went pretty quick through there. So I'm just going to go back 1 day. Okay, so there's 1 day. All right, and I'll go through quickly, and then we'll do a medium view. So there's 1 day. There's 2 days. So within 2 days. The 7th, they've still got breeze, 5th, 6th, 7th. And when we come into the 8th, Gary's going to lose it totally. But everyone's still got a bit of breeze there because they all have progressed. We're onto the 8th, so that's 3 days ahead. And they'll be making at least 50 miles a day, so there's 150. So you can see generally, looks like they might be lucky enough. The majority of the fleet will be lucky enough. There's the 8th, we're into the 9th. And then there's a big hole coming. So 4 days. He's going to get out of this in 4 days. Then there's a hole. So the tail enders might get trapped. Gary's going to have challenges. And there's the 10th. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just come back to a 2 day. Get out of here. A 2 day forecast on a bigger scale. And I could measure off some distance. So don't forget about Gary for a minute there. Pull it back to today's weather. So we'll do the same thing again because this is the whole thing's a bit boring, but this is the only one that's got any substance that's going to give an indication of what's happening. So we'll go through to 24 hours. So there's that quiet bit you can see there. That's by early hours of the morning. Generally speaking, everyone over here is going to have a quiet night, be slowing down substantially. Renaud is the only one that's going to be there. Pila is currently doing, she's doing okay, 3.5, 4 knots. So 4 knots, 4 knots by 12 hours is 50 miles. Let's just see where Pila will be in 50 miles. She's just going to hold it. She might just hold it. Renaud's got it. This is his entry into the breeze now. So Renaud's not going to slow down. And I think Pila might just make it. The others, that's the drawing line behind Pila. They're going to actually lose out quite a bit to Renaud overnight. Okay. So I go back here and push through. That's by midday. The breeze is filling in again. So 24 hours, there's enough breeze to keep them going, so they're not going to be held up for long. And then again, the next day, there's enough breeze to keep everyone sailing. The good news is, if you're watching this, Kerry, there really is no point in heading south, Kerry. So I would suggest, and I've got to be careful here because that's technically routing. That was a bit of a joke. But anyway, let's just say this whole fleet here can keep going at that angle and try and cut the corner a bit for Renaud. And if we look at that, we'll take Kerry as an example, and we say, okay, let's say we take there. That's 150 miles. I'll bring it out to 150 miles, near enough there. So this is it there, right? I think what you're going to see with Renaud, if we bring that down to him, what we're going to see there, Renaud will probably keep going to about maybe here. So remember, Kerry will be about there, and then when he's there, so there's 60 miles, so we're on another 90 miles. Then he might start to level out a bit, probably not, maybe about there. So Kerry's going to be about here and there, which will put him about, if we said real-time course, what's it going to be? I'd say he's going to be, it's about the same. It'll work out, I think, that effectively or tactically, Kerry might be about 80 miles behind him by the time they're both in the tray, 80 to 100 miles, which is, I think that's about right. Maybe, let's see. Be about 100 miles behind. So he's lost out because he left 12 hours after Renaud. 12 hours of 5 knots is 60 miles. He's going to be 100 miles behind. So Renaud has been sailing particularly well. I don't know whether that all makes much sense to everyone that's watching this, but that's sort of what's happening. So you're going to see, this is on the 7th, 2 days from now. You're going to see the breeze filling here. These guys are caught up. Renaud's just going to get a head start, and Pila's going to be right on his hammer. I think Pila might just about hold the current distance. So let's just confirm again, bow to bow, where Pila is right now, 50 miles. She'll probably lose another 20. So I think by the time they both are confirmed in the trade wind, she'll be about 70 miles behind, which is about 14 hours difference. So that's not a bad position, because I think she'll try and keep up with him, or should be able to, might go close to keep up with him in the trades. And, overall, the fleet is still quite close together. If we said the split, forgetting about Gary, 240 miles. So that's 2 days behind. So that's not bad. They've been out there nearly 2 weeks, and there's only 2 days splitting the fleet, maybe, at the moment. But that'll change a bit going forward. So, okay, so on that, let's have a look at now what's going on. From Gary's perspective, let's have a look at the current first as well. I'm a bit all over the place here. Usually I do that. You can see Renaud's actually been bucking the current, but he's just about out of it now. This is, here we go. Yeah, he's just coming out of the current. He's been sitting back in this stuff for a while. Pila's just about off the edge of it, not too bad. Dan Turk's not looking good. He's going to push a bit of that. This is about half a knot, but half a knot in a day is still 12 miles. He'd rather have the half knot speed rather than lose it for the current. Kerry's not looking too bad. He's going to come across a bland area now. Dan Turner's got a little bit forward of the beam, but mainly pushing him down. Renaud's home free because now he's finished with the current. He's coming out of the dead area, and then when he gets going, he's going to hook into the that's this following current. So that's good for him. Gary is still getting a kick. He's just holding it there. If we move it forward, you'll see it's running away from him as he comes across. So he's just missed a bit of a kick, but then he's got to come down, and there's not much breeze for him coming through. So I can't imagine him making a huge gain there, even though he's moving very fast over the top. He has cut the corner a bit. Let's wait and see. Too hard to call, but I think he'll still end up behind the fleet once they all get in the trades. He's got to come down quite a bit. Okay, so Gary, boom, currently the leader, number one position. He's been doing 2 knots, but he has made 76 nautical mile a day, which will once again probably be the longest day of the whole fleet, maybe, although Renaud's starting to move. Christian, 2.2 knots. He's supposed to be staying about 12 miles away from the land, but I don't think he's going to make that. But anyway, that's fine if he just keeps going. 40-mile day, a lot less than Christian. And Ayrton, half a knot. He's pretty much stopped. 28-mile day. He's in a hole. Not much to worry about the current. Eric, 2.4 knots, 44-mile day. And Jasmine. I just want to let everyone know I'm about to start talking about Jasmine. 2.6 knots. She just put a good group of photos up as well. So did Kerry, which is quite cool. So check out their Facebook page. 2.6 knots, 49-mile day, so a little bit more than Ayrton. And Jacob is doing 3.5 knots, 51 nautical mile day. He's actually gained on Jasmine, 51 versus 49, 3 miles. Josh, 2.5, 48-mile day, pretty much all holding their own. Captain Coconut on the roll. He's moving. He went backwards there for a while, 2.5 knots. And Adam is doing 3.4, 58-mile days. It's very inconsistent, eh? You can see they're all getting slightly different weather back there, which are generally the same, but slightly different. So Kerry's still holding there, and I can tell the little comments you see, he doesn't want to waste time. That whole issue of climbing the mast was all to save, maybe, 400, 500, 600 meters by the time he dropped the sail. I don't know what he was planning, if he was dropping the sail and then climbing the mast. I think that's what he might have been talking about. Anyway, he managed to keep sailing and use his boat hook, so he got it down. 2.9 knots, but 56-mile day, hard earned, but you can just tell he's sailing hard. Dan Turner with the big, in fact, it's the big eggplant, He used to be called Holiday Dan. Maybe we could call him Eggplant Dan. But anyway, I'm not sure whether that was representing gonads or the vital piece, but it was a big eggplant. Anyway, you'll have to see his post to work that out. But he did hook my line, I've got to say that, because when I was sailing, I was known as the naked sailor when I did the Transat, because I just don't wear clothes. And Dan picked up on that in Adelaide, or he just called himself naked sailor. And that's all the bloody media wanted to talk about. So now they'll be talking about his eggplant. Give him a comment and ask him whether was that his gonads or was that his vital piece. I just need to satisfy my curiosity. Just to really hang it in there, I've got 3 tubs of eggplant in the freezer, and I just had a whole bunch of it yesterday. Jane left it for me before she went to China with all the bits and pieces, and there goes my appetite, Anyway, I digress. So Dan is actually doing 4.1 knots. You can see the gradient actually on the breeze. If we go back to the breeze, he's right on the edge of it. Oops, that's the sea state. What am I doing? Thinking of eggplants. You can just see Dan here. Just hang on. Are we into it? Yeah, you could just pick it. You can see there's the light spot here. Kerry's not quite in it, and it's coming off through here. So Dan's doing quite well, 4.1 knots and 60-mile day. So he's on a roll. Dan Turk, 3.2, 40 miles. It's strange because it's coming that way. So it could be because he's in the current. Let's just remind me. Yeah, he's got more of a current. I think he's been in this. This is the graphic of the current, but it could actually be quite a bit stronger than it's showing there. And he's certainly got more current than Dan. So, Holiday Dan, Eggplant Dan. So he that's what's happening to Dan. I think he's losing the current. Peeler will be losing a bit in the current as well. You can see quite clearly there. She's making 3.7 knots, 52-mile day. So she's in the breeze, sailing well, and Renaud is absolutely in the breeze, doing 76-mile day. So Gary got a bit close, I think. What was that? Was he 80? 76, same. So there you go. But without question, Renaud is in a much more favourable position and will slowly but surely come around to head towards the Marquises. So a big change coming up. I think that's all I can tell you from here. Leaderboard's a bit irrelevant still, but we'll have a look anyway, just to make doubly sure, see what it's saying, because they're not even heading along on the run line to give you an idea of the ETAs and things like that. And the ETA is actually set for Fiji, so there's a few things that are inconsistent, but it's the only way we can manage it, because the stopover in the 3 ports are pit stops, which we will manually add. There's 23 days of pit stops, so it doesn't really say a lot at the moment. But it does show you who's technically leading, which is Gary. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Gary. He's happy to be leading. It's a number, I know, but it's at least it's there. 87 days on the lapse time, so it doesn't make sense for now. Okay, that's about it. We're done. I'll get back to this one and see how we go here. Boom, that's me. Hello. So we're definitely short on comments from people, and so it's the weekend. Everyone, why would you be inside like me on the computer or on your phone watching all this when you could be outside on a Saturday afternoon? Because it's unbelievable here at the moment. Beautiful sunny day in the Sable d'Olonne, and we've got one of the last Vendée boats, Arnaud, who's a local guy here in the Sable d'Olonne. He's arriving tomorrow. So, g'day, John. You're it. Japers. It's only hi. So no questions at all. That's good. I'm just keeping everyone updated with what's happening, and we'll look forward to, if all goes well, we'll actually see you tomorrow. So I'm hoping all this has been working. Okay, that's it. We'll sign out and press the right buttons, and have a good weekend, eh? See you later.
Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small